President, and I'm just trying to get my arms around this. And so it's really not so much about childcare, but more about scholarships someplace and Head Start at ECFE and so on. So this isn't your characteristic childcare 75% whatever bill. That's in a different bill, I think. But if Senator Kunish would yield to help me just get my arms around this, that would be helpful.
Senator Kunish, will you yield? She will yield. Senator Abeler.
All right, and the main part of the bill looks like it's these scholarships, which I have actually been a fan of and tried to do some of that when I had a gavel with some of the money from COVID and all that. Anyway, so Senator Kunish, these scholarships, they don't have to be at a school, right? They can be in a center or a licensed home. Is that right?
Senator Kunish, to that question.
Mr. President, if I could ask Senator Abeler a question.
You can.
Clarifying
he can
question.
ask you the question because he has the floor. So he asked you to answer a question. Now, do you want to ask him a clarifying question?
I do.
Ask the clarifying question, Senator Kunish.
I'm wondering which scholarships he's talking about.
Senator Abeler, there you go. Senator Abeler.
Well, yeah, thanks. Well, the main ones of the bill, the early learning scholarships, the ones that go from birth to 4 or whatever, like the main part of the bill.
Senator Kunish, to the question.
So these, this is $252 million provided for those early learning scholarships in the next biennium, and the eligibility is set at household incomes equal or less to 47% of the median state income and adjusted for the family size. This is going to provide approximately 12,600 new scholarships to our youngest learners. And it is also, those scholarships are focused on 3- and 4-year-old children, but the program has seen the significant growth since its eligibility. Those children from birth to 2 are eligible for early scholarships if they are a younger sibling of a child with a scholarship attending the same program. So there are opportunities here for those children to go to early learning programs that participate in Parent Aware, Minnesota Quality Rating and Improvement System, and those are the areas that those kids are going to be able to go to.
Senator Kunish, the question he also asked was whether these scholarships can be used for like home care centers as well. Is that what you asked, Senator Abeler?
Right, Mr. President. Just if are they only in schools, or are they for licensed centers, or also for licensed homes?
Senator Kunish, to that question.
Yes, I mentioned that the students can go to, or the children can go to parent-aware programs, and those are like daycares that are not corporation or family daycares.
Senator Abeler.
Well, thanks, Mr. President. I'm happy you can help me just get the question figured out. Parent Aware, Mr. President, is a rating system, and there's Parent Aware rated homes, licensed homes. There's Parent Aware rated centers. I think schools are imputed with a 3 level anyway. So, Senator Kunish, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, if I have a Parent Aware, do I have to have a Parent Aware 3 or 4 star place to go to? And if there's any 3 or 4 star place, can they go to any one of those? And just to ask it a different
Are you asking her to yield?
Would she yield, Mr. President?
Senator Kunish, will you yield? The question is whether the Parent Aware program, if someone has a scholarship, can they go to any Parent Aware program? Senator Kunish.
Yes, they can.
Senator Abeler.
All right. So, anyway, that wasn't meant to be that hard of a question, but thank you very much. Senator Kunish, if she'd yield again.
Senator Kunish will yield. She will yield, Senator Abeler.
Well, thank you. I'm just curious about the funding on at least the sheet I've got here. It says there's more money in the first biennium and quite a bit less in the second, $252 million and then $59 million. So people get all excited to get the program going, and they're all coming, and then suddenly there's not as much money. And if Senator Kunish would yield again, Mr. President.
Senator Kunis will yield. Senator Abeler?
So what happens in 26 and 27 when the money gets down to less than a quarter of the money that was there before?
Senator Kunis, to the question.
We will reassess that and allocate the dollars that we have to use and do our best to continue to fund those dollars as best we can. That's my answer.
Senator Abeler.
Well, thank you, and I figured that was the answer. And it's everybody's starving for tail money, Mr. President. So anyway, so hopefully, if this is working out, we'll be able to help it continue. If Senator Kunish, I'm going to ask Senator Kunish I'll ask the kind of question that I'll ask her to yield. But on the Grow Your Own, there's another program that has $5 million in 1 year, and then in one biennium, and then $1 million. So, Senator Kunish, is it your intention that the Grow Your Own program would kind of shut down for the second biennium?
Senator Kunish, to the specific question.
No, it is not my intention that it would shut down.
Senator Abeler.
All right, I'm just curious because they've got $5 million on one biennium and then $1 million. That's pretty much going to kind of put the brakes on it. So how do you think that program, is this kind of so you intend to carry it on, but you're just going to have less people getting trained? Is that what you're thinking? If she would yield again, Mr. President.
Senator Kunis will yield. Senator Abeler, I think she heard the question, or did you want to ask it again?
I'm happy to ask it again.
Nope. Did you hear the question?
I would ask for a repeat.
Repeat the question, Senator Abeler.
All right. I already said would she yield, so you got that part out of the way, so I'm happy there. So the Grow Your Own program, well, let me just ask about the Great Start Scholarship Plan. That's a similar question. There's $4.3 million in one biennium and then zero. Is that just a kind of a one-and-done sort of a program for the Great Start Scholarship Program?
Senator Kunis, to the question.
So all of these that we have are allocating, they have special revenue funds that we can continue to put dollars into it, and those dollars are used as needed and are replenished as needed. So we would be able to continue to fund all of these programs as the time goes on, but the fact that we now have some additional dollars to invest in these areas, we are sort of front-loading them and allowing the different programs to access those dollars so that they can continue to do the good work for our youngest learners.
Senator Abeler.
Well, thank you, and I just actually had these random questions, and so now you've provoked another one. So, Senator Kunis, you mentioned there's some other funds that are going to land in these programs to backfill the big reduction in spending. What fund would that be, Senator? If she would yield, Mr. President,
Senator Kunis,
what
will
fund
yield?
is? Oh.
She will yield. Senator Abeler.
Thank you, Mr. President, and Senator Kunis. What fund is it that is going to rise to the occasion to fill these funds that are now dwindling?
Senator Kunis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, we have allocated $5 million to Grow Your Own. We have $1.6 million for the Great Start Scholarship, and we have money going into ECFE, increasing ECFE by $5.5 million, and the kindergarten readiness assessment, it's a $2.5 million increase with $3.5 million ongoing for additional resources. And so those dollars are what's going to keep these programs going.
Senator Abeler.
Okay, and I'm not trying to even spar with you, Senator Kunish. I just noticed there's programs that are starting out like quite large, like the Early Learning Scholarship is $252 million, drops to $59 million. And so that creates a hole if the people are trying to continue on. And you just mentioned there's some other funds that are going to continue these programs, but those other funds actually are spent on other programs. And so I guess I'll just offer you the concern that by setting out a program with a high number in the beginning, like Grow Your Own at $5 million, and then you have only $1 million in the second biennium, there's a risk that that program may actually not continue. And I don't want to drag this out that long, but unless it's designed to operate on 20% of the money, the Grow Your Own program is probably going to be in harm's way. Or, Mr. President, create a demand on the general fund. And the way spending has been going around here, and with the budgets and there may be a recession or something, that it may not be able to continue those services. And so I'll just try. Well, I'm not trying to make this a big discussion here, but anyway, that's helpful. I might have another question. Let's see. So if I can just summarize, this is largely a program with scholarships that I said I liked. It sounds as though the unique thing about this is it's an income-limited program, and the people pay 7% compared to going to a regular child care center on their own or going into a licensed home or to a school center where they may have to pay the full amount. They're limited. The unique thing about this is, if Senator Kunish will yield in a second, is that they only have to pay 7% of their income to make this work. Senator Kunish, if she would yield, Mr. President.
Senator Kunish will yield. She will yield. Senator Abeler.
So, Senator Kunish, is that the unique part about these scholarships? Is that they're designed to be very affordable for any family to fit? Is that kind of the highlight?
Senator Kunish, to that question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yep, most of these are scaled to income and have created specific eligibility criteria for families that are most vulnerable. And that's really the beauty of it, because we know that it is those families that have historically not been able to provide accelerated programming for their students or have access to academics prior to elementary school. And so that is the main reason for the early childhood committee, how we can best invest in those families and make sure that those that are struggling the most have the access to valuable teachers and academics and resources and experience, so that by the time they hit that kindergarten, that elementary school, they are not so far behind their peers that that have had those kind of opportunities that really get them ready for school and for a successful school history.
Senator Abeler.
Mr. President, I'll come in for a landing pretty quick here. Just one last question. So, as I understand, these are, I believe they're 3 and 4 star places, if I'm right about that. And so, Senator Kunish, I'll ever yield in a second. But so, in these centers, it's not just going to be the scholarship kids. It's going to be anybody is going to be there. There'll be some scholarship kids, some cash people, paying their own way, et cetera. It's going to be just a hybrid of individuals, and these are just garden variety 3 and 4 star home centers and school sites, intermixed with all kinds of individuals, including some of these folks wherever they may be. Is that right, Senator Kunish? If she would yield.
Senator Kunish will yield. Senator Kunish, to that question.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would assume that there will be a variety of students coming from a variety of homes that are not only socioeconomically different, but of course diverse communities as well.
Senator Abeler.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Actually, over the years, I've supported, I think, all of these kind of programs. And I think if people think that we can afford the money, it's something that they might find interesting and worthy of doing. I think if you did take it back to conference, I don't know if it's going to go there or not, but you might want to find a way to level out the money. Because I hope that the scholarship folks aren't going to rely on these really heavily when the money gets cut by a factor of 4. So anyway, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Kunish.
Senator Green.